I've spent the last few weeks experimenting with AI to craft cinematic B-roll for my 3D animations, and honestly, it has completely rewired my entire creative process. If your 3D world doesn't feel lived in, it doesn't matter how polished your textures are because the scene will still feel flat, causing your audience to quickly lose interest. What I want to show you today is not just how to create pretty clips, but how to craft B-roll that genuinely convinces viewers your virtual world actually exists. The secret isn't a single magic shader or more polygons, but rather a combination of intentional direction, subtle background activity, mood, and strategic distribution. For the generation side, I've been using tools like Cinema Studio to block my camera moves and define my start and end frames with incredible precision. Those features are absolute game changers for producing consistent cinematic footage that looks like it was captured on a real movie set. However, the real difference in my workflow comes from how I take all that long-form material and turn it into bite-sized, viral-ready social content. That is exactly where Vizard fits into the middle of my pipeline, acting as the bridge between raw, long-form renders and the final shareable clips people actually watch. Vizard doesn't build the 3D assets, but it takes my long walkthroughs and B-roll reels and automatically chops them into snackable, high-impact content. Think of this as a two-step idea. One tool to generate and direct your footage, and Vizard to slice, polish, and distribute it for maximum visibility. We are going to cover 4 categories that completely change how a 3D scene reads: camera movement, background life, weather and atmosphere, and decay over time. Each of these adds a distinct layer to your project, making an environment feel like it belongs in a film rather than just a generic demo reel. First, let's talk about camera movement, because the way you move your camera is essentially everything when it comes to narrative. A slow, controlled dolly hits the viewer differently than a jittery handheld shot, and cinematic moves tell a story without even changing the set dressing. When generating B-roll, I plan the camera first by asking if the move implies steady control, panicked immediacy, or a massive sweeping scale. In my tools, I often predefine movement and lens characteristics before the render to ensure I get that specific, high-quality energy I am looking for. I usually set up 3 short takes: a 3-second dolly for action, a 3-second handheld for grit, and a 4-second orbit to sell the environment scale. Once those renders are complete, Vizard becomes the editor that finds the best beats without me having to scrub through hours of footage manually. Vizard's AI finds those tiny viral moments where motion and composition meet, effectively doing the work a human editor would take hours to perfect. Instead of using one-size-fits-all clippers that ignore rhythm, Vizard nails the timing so the B-roll actually lands and keeps the viewer watching. Second is background life, which is the underrated ingredient that turns simple set dressing into a truly living, breathing world. People walking, distant vehicles, or even the soft motion of trees help anchor your main subject to a believable and grounded context. When setting scenes, I like to use the phrase "out of focus background motion" to keep the foreground crisp while making the environment feel lived in. I create sequences focused on depth by including distant silhouettes and passing figures to inject that much-needed sense of energy and scale. Vizard then surfaces clips where background life and foreground action align perfectly, catching that split second where a passerby adds the right context. This automates the tedious task of hunting for the perfect frame, ensuring your final posts have consistent, high-quality background dynamics. Third, we have atmosphere, which acts as the emotional filter for your entire scene, changing the mood from inviting to threatening with just a few tweaks. Small changes like focal length, color temperature, and weather conditions have massive emotional consequences on how your audience perceives the shot. I plan contrasting atmospheres like a warm, expansive shot using 85mm compression or a moody orbit with rain that reads like a gritty detective show. When those atmospheric takes are rendered, Vizard helps turn each mood into platform-ready clips and schedules them for maximum impact. Since engagement compounds with consistency, having Vizard handle the publishing schedule allows you to maintain momentum throughout the entire week. Fourth is Decay and the passage of time, which is one of my favorite storytelling levers because every environment should have a history. The start and end frame features in modern generators let me define a pristine state versus an overgrown, ruined state and interpolate between them. People absolutely love watching transformation, and Vizard recognizes that, automatically creating the loops and teaser cuts that work perfectly for social reels. Unlike most repurposing tools that just blindly slice content, Vizard structures these clips to preserve the narrative arc and the emotional impact of the change. My practical advice is to stop chasing expensive, unrealistic gear and focus on this pipeline. Generate with a desktop tool and edit with Vizard. It's designed for creators who want to scale their content without hiring an entire editing team, and it truly understands what makes a clip go viral. The content calendar feature centralizes everything, so you never lose track of what's going out or when, ensuring your narrative rhythm stays sharp. The workflow is simple. Prep your scenes, render those long-form masters, upload to Vizard, let the AI find the viral slices, and set your schedule. You can plan a narrative arc for your week, starting with a warm atmosphere shot, followed by a behind-the-scenes look at your process. Ultimately, cinematic B-roll is about the combination of direction, motion, and the ability to get your content in front of people in the right format. If you want to start creating cinematic B-roll that actually gets views, try pairing a scene director for the generation and Vizard for the heavy lifting. It is the difference between having a drawer full of unused master files and having an actual content machine that feeds your social channels every single day. Experiment with these 4 categories: camera, life, atmosphere, and decay, and watch how much more believable your environments feel to your audience. Thanks for watching this walkthrough, and if you are making 3D environments, this combo will help you present your work like it belongs in a film. I will see you in the next one, and I can't wait to see what you create.